Hello, this is Lou Serrano from LouSerranoMarketing.com, where I'm dedicated to helping you build your business faster, easier, and more effectively without spending a fortune. Last week I was performing at a trade show out in San Jose, California, and had an amazing time. The client was happy, I was happy. We brought lots of attention to the company and to their product. It was just a great time all around. And I've been performing at trade shows for almost 20 years. Some years I do quite a few trade shows, other years I don't do any at all. But trade shows are the most lucrative gigs that I do, mainly because of the value that I bring to the company at these trade shows, the results that I bring, and also it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. Not only do I need to incorporate company messaging into my presentation, I'm also given the responsibility of driving traffic to the booth and then qualifying the attendees to make sure that our salespeople are approaching the right people to do their job. So it's quite a stressful type of event for me to do. Every time I do these trade shows, about a week before the trade show, I always have quite a bit of anxiety because of this responsibility. But I put a lot of pressure on myself to do a great job, and because I put that pressure on myself, I always seem to just do a phenomenal job for my clients. So I really do enjoy performing at the trade shows, and I was thinking to myself, how did I get this good fortune to be able to perform at these shows where they pay me quite a bit of money to do what I do? And so I wanted to share two ideas with you, two stories. Back in April of 2000, I decided that I wanted to perform at trade shows. I had never performed at a trade show before, but I wanted to perform at trade shows. So I declared that I was a trade show magician. What does that mean? I declared that I was a trade show magician. I basically told the world that I am a trade show magician. So I was performing at an event in San Dimas, California, and I wrote out the introduction so that the host can introduce me for my show. There was about 100 people at this show. And the introduction read something like this: the performer you're about to see specializes in the art of illusion. He's a frequent performer at the world-famous Magic Castle in Hollywood, and he's highly sought after for trade shows, sales meetings, and other corporate events. Please put your hands together for Lou Serrano. So I did my show. After the show, a gentleman came up to me and he said, "I heard you do trade shows." I said, "Yes, I do." He says, "Well, I'm exhibiting at a trade show next month in San Diego. I'd like to hire you." So he got my card. He says, "I'll call you tomorrow," and he did. He hired me for my very first trade show. Now, I had never done a trade show before. I did my very first set, and after I did my very first set at this show, my client came up to me and says, "Well, you obviously have done this before." And I said, "Well, thank you very much." He did not know that I never performed at a trade show. But here's two keys. The first thing I did was I declared that I was a trade show magician. And once I declared that I was a trade show magician, I showed up. What does that mean? I showed up. Well, Woody Allen is famously quoted as saying that 80% of success is showing up. And so what does that mean? You know, if you want to get in shape, if you show up at the gym, well, you're 80% of the way there because you're probably going to work out. If you're going to write a screenplay, you got to show up. You got to start putting words onto paper, right? If you're going to be a magician, you can't just practice at home. You have to create that magic in front of an audience. So you have to show up. You have to start doing. Back in January of 2013, I wrote a blog post that said, "To be, you must do." You can't just declare that you're the person that you want to be. You have to do it. You know, as a professional magician, I can't just practice, I have to perform. As a speaker, I can't just say that I'm a speaker, I have to get up in front of a group and speak. As a coach, I can't just say that I'm a coach, I have to actually coach people. So the first step is you have to declare who you are. And then you have to show up. Show up as the person that you want to be. Back about 10 years ago, or over 10 years ago, I knew that I wanted to teach marketing to other magicians. And so back then I had never, this was way back before I put out this product right here, the Real Secrets Marketing Course for Close-Up Magicians, the only marketing course you'll ever need, which I released back in 2009. But before that, I knew that I wanted to release this course. And so amongst magicians, people would, if someone were to ask, well, if I want to learn marketing, who is the person to ask? And they would always say Lou Serrano. If you went to the Magic Castle and you wanted to know who was the marketing expert, people would always say Lou Serrano. I gave interviews with people, and it was because I was known as the marketing expert. Well, why was I known as the marketing expert among magicians? I told people I was the marketing expert. I declared that I was the marketing expert among magicians, and people believed it, and they told everybody else, and then I became it. I showed up as the marketing expert. I released my course, which has sold all over the world, and so I declared who I was, and I showed up as that person. In all aspects of my career, it's been the same thing. I declared who I am, and then I showed up. To be, you must do. When I declared that I was a professional speaker, I declared it first, and then I started speaking. I put up a website that said I was a motivational keynote speaker, and people hired me. Back in 2004, actually back in 2000, I had gone on a cruise ship on vacation, not as a performer, just on vacation. And I met a couple there, and I got friendly with them. And afterwards, we kept in touch. I put him on my mailing list. He would get my regular mailings, my postcards, my newsletters, and things like that. And so by 2005, I decided that I wanted to be a keynote speaker. So I put up a page on my website that said motivational speaker. And so this gentleman that I had met on this cruise ship, he had gotten my newsletter. He went to my website. He saw that I had a page that said motivational speaker. He called me up, and he hired me for my very first paid speaking gig. This was in 2005. I was speaking in front of 300 people. This was for the staff and all the teachers and the staff of a university. And it was because I first declared that I was that person, and then I showed up as that person. And all of my success has been due to that. Declaring who I am, and then being that person. So I ask you, who do you want to be? Declare that you are that person, and then show up as that person. To be, you must do. Till next time, this is Lou Serrano saying, go out, share your message, share your talent, share your expertise, share the passion for whatever it is that you do, and make a positive difference in the world.